Very interesting first two cards. A King of Wands reversed energy and a Eight of Pentacles reversed. Now, with these two cards, I am seeing a masculine energy coming through here, represented by this King of Wands reversed. Someone who is very blocked at this time in the sacral chakra. Do keep in mind, I channel many different people, situations, and connections throughout these readings, so only take what resonates and what feels aligned for you personally and leave the rest here. Also, you might find some of these messages connect to your internal masculine or feminine, or to an external person or situation, platonically or romantically. These are just energies that I channel through the readings, so they could connect with you in many different ways. And of course, your own intuition will guide you through all of that. With this King of Wands reverse energy, I am picking up some kind of masculine energy, again, that has a sort of sacral chakra blockage going on here. This means that the person coming up in this reading is someone who is afraid to be vulnerable. And this might be someone who, I'm hearing the word avoidant. They may avoid expressing their feelings. They may be considered to have an avoidant attachment style, although that might not be the case for everyone. This person also could simply be avoiding one particular thing or emotional expression at this time. So there might be one specific thing that this person coming up here as a masculine is avoiding saying or doing. It's almost like they know how they're feeling. I keep wanting to say it's a feeling. I know it might not be a feeling for everyone, but for many of these masculines, it is a feeling for a divine feminine that they can't avoid, but that they are trying to avoid, that they are having difficulty expressing. This also seems to be someone who is very fixated on something related to their work or finances at this time. They may be using this as a distraction for some of these deeper feelings that seem to be coming up. Deep down, though, this person is feeling one of two ways when it comes to their work, possibly both ways. But they are absolutely either feeling like the work that they do is extremely mundane. It feels like to them, they are just living life on some kind of an autopilot loop. But I'm hearing, you broke me out. You broke me out of a loop. So this masculine is now deciding to talk because initially they seemed very quiet. So at times they really might seem very tight-lipped when it comes to expressing how they're feeling. But this also could be the kind of person that once you get them talking, sometimes they will just keep opening up, particularly around you, Divine Feminine. If you are a Divine Feminine listening, resonating with this reading, because I do feel this reading will specifically resonate mostly with Divine Feminines, I will probably put that somewhere in the title or thumbnail. So most likely if you did feel drawn to that title or thumbnail, you most likely are either really resonating with your internal Divine Feminine aspect at this time, even if you're typically a masculine, or more likely you tend to always connect in as the Divine Feminine. So this person deep down, for some reason I get the feeling this is very specific, that this might be a masculine who pretends like what they do for work is really fulfilling or exciting, or pretends like their life is really fulfilling, but deep down they feel really lost. They feel like whatever they're doing is very repetitive, very mundane. I keep getting something about how it's not what it looks like on the surface. So whatever they do for work may look like it comes with a lot of prestige or status or money or fulfillment to outsiders, and that is what this masculine wants to present to other people. Now, if it's not a job, although I do feel it is for most of them, this could simply be their life and their lifestyle or their personality in general. Like, they want people to perceive them as someone who has a lot of status, someone who's very fulfilled, very happy. I'm hearing happy-go-lucky, but that's not how they're really feeling at this time beneath the surface. And even saying that out loud in this reading brought up a little nervousness within me, just because I'm feeling this masculine's nervousness around that point of vulnerability. The vulnerability they feel when they admit that they really aren't as happy or as fulfilled as they are presenting to be. I also feel like something in general about you, Divine Feminine, makes this person nervous. Maybe it's because you bring up some of those vulnerable feelings. Yeah, I have Page of Cups reversed. I feel like you make this masculine nervous because you really see through them. And the way that you see through them, it almost makes them feel like a child again, not in a negative way, but in a vulnerable way, where I'm getting chills all over as well. This is feeling like a really powerful soul contract is at play here. Like the two of you were destined to meet and have this effect on each other. And at some level, even if this masculine doesn't really believe in spiritual things, they are recognizing that fate is playing some kind of role here. But that was a bit of a side note. I do feel you make this masculine feel ungrounded because what has been grounding them has not been in alignment with who they really are at the core. And you see through them to that very core of who they are. And so naturally that makes them feel very ungrounded in the sense that they can no longer distract themselves with these physically manifested things in their life that used to allow them to avoid facing how they were really feeling or accepting, embracing who they really were. Something about you, I just keep hearing you take this person to the core of who they really are. I'm hearing something about living in the moment, like prior to meeting you, I feel the masculine here was very much resigned to the mundane nature, the very cyclical nature of his daily life. Things felt extremely mundane. The word boring keeps coming out here, and yet they felt that they really had no other option but to live life in this way. And they never really thought to try and envision any kind of greater idea or dream or goal for themselves to break them out of this mundane cycle. It's almost like they had just resigned themselves to it until they met you. And it's almost like you shook them awake out of this unconscious sleep that was actually them being really routined in their daily life. I just keep picking up on that. Like this person was in some kind of a routine, and connecting with you just immediately woke them up, almost like, whoa, what have I been doing with my life for the last several months or years? Almost like they feel as though they weren't even fully conscious or fully alive until they connected with you. But they didn't even realize that at the time. It's almost like a spontaneous kind of spiritual awakening happening for this person when the two of you connected. And it's very unsettling, but that is because it is so rapidly spiritually expansive for this person. So it's unsettling to that part of themselves that is very ego-driven and that found comfort in the life that they had unconsciously created for themselves that wasn't really in alignment with their core soul essence. I'm hearing you bring everything into question for this person. Yeah, and when I said that, we pulled a powerful card of spiritual awakening, the Four of Swords reversed. Yeah, someone here is really waking up. You really woke up this particular masculine energy. This may be someone who had a very lone wolf energy, who didn't really desire to connect long term with anyone, or was very avoidant in general of intimacy or relationships. And I'm hearing you made this person no longer want to be alone or no longer want to do life alone. But even that in itself seems to scare them. Every time I channel something really deep on this masculine's heart, something he's feeling at a really deep level, immediately these anxious feelings and this slight kind of fear comes to the surface as well, telling me that whenever this masculine himself goes to face something that he's feeling about you or about this awakening that's taking place within him, it most likely also brings up a lot of fears very naturally as well. This is interesting. So here we have the 10 of Swords and the 2 of Cups. So with the 10 of Swords, it's almost like something being entirely defeated or completely hitting a dead end here. I'm getting that in many cases, this may be the masculine. I saw the number 444 being defeated by himself, meaning it's almost like his ego is being defeated. His own patterns of trying to avoid and deny the feelings that he's having for you, Divine Feminine, are being defeated because they keep hitting this dead end, ultimately pushing him into this Two of Cups energy, which stands for partnership, for connection, for two. I'm hearing two independently powerful people coming together and merging and being this powerful, united force to be reckoned with on the planet. And that seems to represent the two of you. Like, the two of you, by the way, both come up as being very independent, very self-sufficient, regardless of your current relationship status, whether you are in a relationship or not. You both have a very strong spirit, a very ancient soul, wisdom far beyond what I wanted to say far beyond your years. Of course, earth years and age are irrelevant when it comes to energy. What I really meant by that is wisdom far beyond even this one lifetime. Like even from a young age, you've always carried this deeper soul wisdom about you that other people most likely recognized. And the same is true for this masculine as well. There is absolutely a lot of mirroring taking place, but it's almost like this defeat happening internally for the masculine here, where the defense mechanisms and the avoidant patterns no longer work. And as he realizes they're no longer working, he hits this dead end that actually pushes him into this beautiful, harmonious union state, pushing him to open up in a brand new way towards union with the Divine Feminine. I'm hearing a blossoming taking place, metaphorically speaking. Now, of course, we are all on different waves and timelines. So as I'm channeling here, I picked up particularly for that portion of the reading that you, Divine Feminine, might be seeing this opening up taking place within this Divine Masculine, or you might be seeing that take place futuristically. So again, time and distance are not relevant when it comes to energy. So do take these messages how or when they are resonating. Okay, so I'm going to be reshuffling the cards here. And I really want to know what kind of dead end is taking place within this masculine. Coming up is that 10 of Swords. I do feel, again, that this is related to them no longer being able to deny or repress the feelings that they're having. It's almost like they keep running circles in their heart space with these feelings for you, Divine Feminine, because I have Woman Holding a Heart reversed and Cornucopia reversed. And with this Woman Holding a Heart card, I'm seeing almost as though You, divine feminine, already hold their heart. In fact, somewhat dramatically, I hear this masculine's higher self saying, "You held my heart the instant that I looked at you." And I just felt a wave of chills as I said that. However, it's almost as though their ego self has been resisting fully accepting that you are the one and the only one that holds their heart. But as they try to avoid accepting this, it's like they're continuously running circles in their mind and in their heart with cornucopia reversed. It's like something that is frustrating them because they can't get away from it. They can't escape it. They can't let it go. They're being really pushed by spirit just to surrender into what they have known all along, because it's almost like this person has a cognitive dissonance within themselves where at one level they've known all along that you, divine feminine, have been the one holding their heart. Again, it's almost like there was this instantaneous moment. I'm hearing you felt when they gave your heart to you in this lifetime. I know that is so poetic to say and a little strange, but for someone listening, I'm getting so many chills right now, but for someone listening, you had a moment, some kind of exchange or eye contact or something with this masculine early on, and you actually sensed when he gave his heart over to you. It was like a very specific moment where maybe there was an expression on his face or intuitively you just felt it, almost like there was this instantaneous heart chakra energy exchange where the masculine here gave over his heart to you energetically. And ever since then, there's been this fundamental change where he's really not been able to forget you or to let you go. Now, on your part, divine feminine, for some reason, my eyes are wanting to well up with tears as I'm channeling into this energy, because I feel that for a divine feminine, there may be a feminine here who had to pull back communication with this masculine. This may not be for everyone, but for some of you, in spite of what you intuitively felt, you may have had to protect your own peace through withdrawing communication or setting up some kind of boundary here. And I'm hearing that the masculine felt that shift. If that was the case, they actually are feeling worried because for whoever I'm speaking to here, they felt you pulling back in your communication or perhaps just holding back a little bit more because you were protecting your own peace. And perhaps in the physical, because of this masculine's fears of vulnerability, you may have not been seeing that 3D reciprocation, that your heightened level of energy is really demanding and calling forth from others at this time. And so it's almost like in order to preserve your own frequency of unconditional love, which of course begins with unconditional self-love, you, divine feminine, may have actually had to set boundaries with this person or pull back in some way. If that is the case, this masculine felt that shift. I'm hearing silently they felt a change. Something changing or turning in the energy as a result of you, divine feminine, either setting boundaries, shifting your mindset around this person or around yourself. You did something here or shifted your energy recently in a way that this masculine felt but was silent about. I feel like they didn't communicate that they felt it, but they did. And it reignited some kind of fire within them that is now really pushing them to act towards you in a stronger way. I will say the two main chakra centers that this masculine seemed to feel this energy shift was in the throat and the sacral, although I was about to say the heart, and that is because it's like your shift in the throat and sacral changed their heart. And I will tell you what I mean by that. Of course, From one perspective, as I said earlier, they transferred their heart to you energetically in that moment that you most likely felt in a very conscious, visceral way. And yet there was a lot of denial blocking the heart space for this person as well. But when you, Divine Feminine, made a change with your own throat chakra and with the sacral, meaning you may have pulled back throat chakra 3D communication with this person to really recenter yourself on your internal throat chakra energy, on speaking your truth, remaining connected with your truth, perhaps using your throat chakra to create in particular specific avenues, whether that's through art, music, painting, business, speaking your mind, whatever the case is for you. And hearing that the masculine here has found this highly attractive, but also irresistible. It's like when they see you channeling your throat chakra energy towards these beautiful creative avenues and outlets and in these personal endeavors or sharing your truth through your voice, it's like they are being called to you in this very irresistible way. Now, in the sacral chakra, I'm getting that you, Divine Feminine, may have pulled back your sensual energy from this person. So they may not have consciously realized it, but I feel that you were actually energetically feeding this masculine or supporting him by sending him a lot of sacral chakra energy. So a lot of sensual or very emotionally charged energy. Now, this kind of sacral chakra energy may have been transmitted in many different ways, but particularly I'm getting that for many of you, you may have spent a lot of time channeling sacral energy to this masculine through visualizing the two of you together in a romantic sense, through sharing a lot of emotionally charged information with him in 3D, through words, through messages, through some kind of communication, sharing a lot of intimacy and vulnerability, but I'm picking up that it began to feel one-sided for you. The masculine who is coming up here is possibly less spiritually evolved at this point in this incarnation, may not have realized consciously that you, Divine Feminine, were actually really supporting him in many, many ways through sending your beautiful, rare, sacral energy to him through these daydreams, visualizations. You may have even been dreaming about him at night, thinking about him while you were falling asleep. And all of this was actually giving him some kind of energetic and emotional high, making him feel really supported, a boost of confidence, of happiness. But it was being taken for granted in this particular case because he wasn't consciously realizing that energy was coming from you. So it's almost like he was taking credit for it as though that energy was being generated by himself. And because he was taking the credit for it, he wasn't giving back to you through the sacral or through the throat chakra in ways that were balanced. So ultimately, the universe cannot allow imbalance to continue existing because everything must balance itself out sooner or later. The universe exists on a very delicate balance and exchange equally of energy. So over time, you giving all of this energy in a one-sided way to this masculine was so unbalanced that it created a scenario where the only way you could keep yourself centered and in balance was to shift more into self-love, self-appreciation, and to pull back again from this particular masculine energy. But once again, what I'm getting is this really changed his heart because when you pulled back in this way, it caused him to realize the amount of support and love that he felt from you when the two of you were very connected and how that impacted him in a really positive way. And I see now the masculine almost having this dawning moment, realizing what he had here and possibly what he feels he may be losing. And this causing a lot of anxiety to come up within him, particularly around nighttime. The masculine here might be having difficulty sleeping with rest and rejuvenation reversed. But I see that you, Divine Feminine, have made really beautifully intuitive choices here because you have chosen to remain aligned with your highest timeline, with the temple path upright. Whenever I see this card, I always want to say to whoever I'm reading for that this is such a powerful sign, even though it's very cliche to say that you are truly on the right path, particularly because I feel in this situation, things may appear to be a bit confusing, a bit convoluted. So whoever needed to hear that message, just know that you are on the right path, and many decisions you've made recently have been more intuitively guided than you may even consciously be able to grasp or realize. With Door to Romance and the Angel of Love upright, I also see that there's a direct correlation between the frequency of unconditional love you are cultivating in yourself within your own energy body and the doors that are opening for you, the beautiful opportunities that are aligning for you romantically. There's a clear correlation here. So the more you are connected in with that frequency of unconditional love, the more that you find yourself becoming highly magnetic for attracting beautiful love connections, situations, interactions, or a deepening and harmonizing of the existing love connections in your life. And you're going to notice this correlation actually becoming more evident as you shift into higher and finer frequency states of being, because when you were in a very dense, lower vibrational state of being, you may have felt that a lot of the love that was coming to you was coming through what some may consider to be pushing, chasing through heavy action, because that lower vibrational state of being meant that you were not emanating a clear signal of love vibrationally, and therefore found it difficult to attract that back into your life experience. But over the years, you've gone through a very intense awakening, and following that awakening, an energy clearing that has occurred within you that has allowed you to emanate a very clear and powerful signal of unconditional love. And know that that call of love is being responded to and answered all around you, wherever you go. I literally see like soulmates or potential really beautiful, harmonious connections, either platonically or romantically, depending on what you desire to attract into your life at this time, coming towards you. I'm literally envisioning these beautiful connections walking towards you as you are emanating this really beautiful signal of unconditional love, which, of course, unconditional love frequency is cultivated by breaking down barriers blocking the flow of love within our own being, which tend to be what we consider self-love barriers. So breaking down those barriers to our own self-love actually causes us to be able to flow that unconditional love energy more quickly through our being, which naturally raises our vibration and calls more and more love, positive attention, and positive interaction into our daily life.